Hello everyone. Once again you are welcome on the official YouTube channel of Rani Revati Devi SBN Inter College Prayagraj. Today I shall take up English literature of class 11th. Basically I shall talk about poetry. Poetry is considered as the oldest genre in literature. I have told you several forms of literature like prose, poetry, short stories, drama, long poem, epics and figures of speech. Those five different topics are already classified in my previous lecture. Today I shall talk about poetry, and the first chapter in class 11th is Mercy, and that is composed by William Shakespeare. But before talking about that poem, it is quite important to understand poetry. Poetry, in its literal meaning, is a collection of poems. Basically, if a number of poems are collected in a single book, then it is named as poetry. Poetry basically stands on emotions. Of course, sometimes it can be intellectual, that we call rational, but mostly it is emotion related. As I told you, this is the oldest genre, this is the oldest form of literature. So it is quite necessary to understand how does it came into effect. For the first time, whenever a person felt extremely happy, then he didn't think anything to express his joy. If I ask all of you, if you are extremely happy, then how will you behave? Perhaps nobody knows. He or she how will behave in the extremity of emotions. Extremity of emotions, I told you, when emotions are completely ruling us. I mean, when we are under the control of emotions. I am using this term emotion again and again, so it is quite important to understand this one. Emotions are the feelings that are in us. We can simply understand emotions exist in us, but where they are, it is a matter of dispute to describe. As in biological terms, it is described that there is a nervous system in our body that carries all the orders to the mind, and then mind delivers its order to control whole soul things. But if we define a person, a human being, what is a human being, then we can simply say human beings are bundle of emotions, collection of emotions. If emotions are detached from human beings, if emotions are separated from human beings, then I think a human being will not be a human being. So, emotions make us a perfect human being, different from animals, different from birds. Yeah, of course, we have intelligence that makes us different from another animals and birds which are irrational, otherwise sometimes they are rational. But basically the emotion that is in us, it is the center of poetry. As I have written over here, human emotions are always in center of poetry. It can be rational, but it is mostly hurt related, as hurt is describe the source of emotion. Yeah, we generally believe that our heart is the source of emotion. If someone asks you, where do emotions live? Then we can simply say our emotions are in our heart, because we have a very satirical image of heart in our mind, that is pineapple like, of course. Then we have a very image of heart in our mind, but that is completely different from the biological truth of our heart. Well, if I go further describing about poetry, then I shall talk about a definition that is given by William Wordsworth. William Wordsworth believes that poetry is a spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings. What does it mean? William Wordsworth believes that poetry is spontaneous. Spontaneous means natural. Spontaneous is something that comes naturally. Like whenever you sow seeds in the soil, then it germinates by its own self. Nobody helps it to break the outer shell of it. It naturally breaks it and comes out. In the same manner, poetry comes out naturally from our heart, and it overflows. And it overflows. What is the meaning of overflow? When you will fill water or liquid in a tub, and then it completely fills up, then what happens? When you will add extra water into it, then it will overflow. I mean, it will just fill is spilled all over. So it is a natural overflow of powerful feelings. Yeah, of course, we have seen it, a spontaneous, natural overflow. But what does overflow? Actually, overflow of powerful feelings. Feelings and powerful feelings. What is the difference in it? Actually, feelings are always in us. Sometimes they are in awakened form, and sometimes they are in sleeping form. Simply, we can say, I mean, they are not up to effect on us. Powerful feelings, we can understand it with one example. When we are extremely happy, then how will we behave? Someone can say, I will laugh, someone will say, I will jump, someone will say, I shall run, I shall shout loudly. I mean, so many people, so many ideas. What is the truth of it? What can a person do whenever he or she is extremely happy? Then perhaps it is not sure. I mean, over the powerful feelings, we don't have any control. Like sometimes we are very angry, and then we do not listen anyone. But as our anger goes away, very soon we realize our fault and we say sorry. It means when feelings are controlling us, our ideas, then they become most powerful, and these powerful feelings, when they are running with our pulses, then they get overflow, and it happens naturally. This is the germination of poetry basically. And furthermore, to define, we can have the example of lines given by a famous Hindi poet Sumitranandan Pant. He has rightly defined poetry in one of his poem. He says, वियोगी होगा पहला कवि, आह से उपजा होगा गान, उमड़ कर आँखों से चुपचाप बही होगी कविता अनजान. Here the poet talks about the first poet. He says the first poet must have been very sad one. The poet doesn't mean only sad. Actually, he says the poet was under the control of powerful and sorrowful feelings. And then what happened? From his sorrowful feelings, there came out the very word, the very sentence. How? उमड़ कर आंखों से चुपचाप, without describing anyone, without talking anyone, without hurting anyone, the words came out and it formed into the lines of poem. So this was the very description of poetry. How does it germinate, and what is its relation to a human being, and how can we understand it easily? These were the things. Furthermore, I have taken these four lines to describe today so that you could not say that I haven't explained the lines. Before explaining the lines, it was quite necessary to talk about poem, talk about poetry, talk about the feelings so that you could understand poetry. Actually, poetry is the most difficult form of literature because it doesn't say directly anything, it speaks indirectly. Whatever the words are describing over there, it is not always that the same meaning of the word is taken over there. So, we have in the poem as a emotional meaning, as the meaning of the whole sense that is described over there. Let's see with the example of Mercy by William Shakespeare. Actually, I don't believe that any poem should be described about its relation to a play if it is taken from there, as everyone believes that this poem has been extracted from a very famous play, The Merchant of Venice, written by William Shakespeare, and therefore everyone relates to it. And it talks about Portia, it talks about Shylock, but I shall not talk. I shall just explain the lines. The quality of mercy is not a strain. It dropped as the gentle rain from heaven upon the place beneath. It is twice blessed. It blesses him that gives and him that takes. The quality of mercy. For the first, the mercy is described as the quality. Is not a strain, and one thing is also true. It is not a strain means nobody can force it. Nobody can possess it by force. Nobody can use power to have it. So we should think of its source. What are the things that we cannot order to have it? I think if we describe about the supreme power that regulates the universe, then of course we find one thing, that is God. If God controls all the things, then the quality of mercy is his quality, because we cannot force this quality into us. Over here, the poet means we cannot achieve the quality of mercy by power. It dropped as gentle rain from heaven. It dropped means it falls as the gentle rain, as a very simple, gentle raindrop from heaven. Heaven simply from the sky. He says, the quality of mercy falls like a gentle raindrop from the sky upon the place beneath. I mean, upon the earth. What does it do over here on earth when it falls? He says, as raindrops fall from the sky and come on the earth, then the whole earth gets green, full of life. I mean, raindrops provide life to the whole earth. In the same manner, the quality of mercy, when it is germinated in our heart from the inspiration of God, then it provides us life. It makes us full of life. And says it is twice blessed. Poet talks about the quality of mercy's double blessing. It is not a simple quality. Actually, poet says it is a double blessing to us. How does it bless us? It blesses him that gives. I mean, the person who shows mercy, he becomes great, he becomes honored to one and all. And him that takes, and a person who receives, I mean, who is the receiver of the quality of mercy, his life is saved. So, in the very first stanza of this poem, simply the poet is appealing to be merciful, because the quality of mercy is divine. It cannot be achieved by force. It comes into our heart in the same way as raindrops fall from the sky and come on the earth. As raindrops enliven the whole earth, the quality of mercy makes perfect to our life. And then, when we are merciful, then we benefit ourselves as well as to others. Like a person who shows mercy, he becomes great, he gets love of all the people, he is honored everywhere, and a person on whose mercy is shown, his life is saved. Thank you for today.